Yeah, yeah. So for this video, what I want to talk about is why hasn't there ever been a golden age for humanity? Or you could also rephrase it: has there ever been a golden age for humanity? But for the topic of this video is more like why hasn't there ever been a golden age for humanity? Because if you look at history, at least at the history books, from the ancient Greeks, the ancient Romans. I know we've heard this a million times before, but the reason we've heard this a million times before because that's all they're really to talk about. Everything from the Mongols to feudal Japan to feudal China, India, Polynesia, the Aztecs, the Mayans, Native American tribes such as the Iroquois and the Seminole or something. And I can't, and there's more, but I can't name all of them off the top of my head. Why hasn't there ever been a golden age for humanity? Because even though you look at history as a whole, and this is a philosophical video, so why hasn't there ever been a golden age for humanity? Which is a stage where people, because honestly, here's the problem with the world is that this is the question everybody I think wants to know is that why hasn't there ever been no matter how prosperous we've become, there ever been a stage where we actually felt happy with what we had? At least for the time. Of course, what would make somebody happy in the 16th century, for example, and maybe like let's just say Polynesia, would not make them happy in the 21st century. And what would make somebody happy in the 21st century today would not make them feel happy, would not make someone in the 25th century, if humans are still around then. But I'm sure we probably will be around by then. We never go extinct. There's too many of us, but that's in itself another issue. But honestly, speaking of truth, in 21st century, people might say it's just garbage. Say it's just garbage. What we have. Just in general, living standards increase. People want more and more and more and more. So, but even for the time period, like why hasn't there ever been a time period when people actually felt happy with what they had at the moment of time? And I think the answer will be surprising, something that you would have never would have expected before. Now, the reason why I believe that every society has fallen short of it is not because of religion. It's not because people always want more and more and more. I think what it's caused by is just simple. Is the answer to simply put it is drama. Now I know every person who's interested in history and philosophy would probably say, "What?" But I think it's actually pretty true because look at it this way, okay? Look at it this way, okay? Whenever a society becomes prosperous, such as the ancient Greeks, the ancient Romans, and all that sort of stuff, do you notice that whenever a society becomes prosperous, there's always those people that always try to send a message, that always have it really bad, and they always talk about how bad they have it and all that sort of stuff, and they're expecting public sympathy, and then you later realize that they have to be some of the biggest that they got themselves in that situation, which is still going on to this very day. Yeah, because pretty much if you look at history, it seems that people are expected, from what I've paid attention to, people are expected to feel ashamed of having wealth. People are expected to feel ashamed of being so prosperous and privileged. Because if you look at history, all the plays pretty much, when you look at it from ancient Greeks to ancient Romans, were pretty much about this constant battle between materialism and love, like you have this woman who says, "Oh, I couldn't give a damn if you're the emperor Nero, you're my husband, and all that sort of stuff. You know, well, not the Emperor of Nero, but I meant the Emperor of Rome or something. You're my husband and stuff. You know, honestly, I'm not a sexist person, but it really does seem women kind of do ruin stuff in this type of situation. Um, but just in general, it seems that when you look at history, people are always complaining about it in general. Is that, for one, people, whenever they do become prosperous, they get what they want, people start complaining. Is that all the entertainment is just about that classic battle? And for the viewer, what do you think that's going to make them feel? It's going to make them feel guilty. It's going to make them feel bad, so they're not going to enjoy it as much. And trust me, man, honestly, speaking the truth, I do not believe you can that you that we can have prosperity and people are actually happy. Because the problem with it as a whole, with that mentality as a whole, that prosperity does not necessarily bring happiness, because it's pretty much off of this mentality a lot of people have nowadays, that, oh, it's actually when things are scarce, that's when you actually appreciate them more. But I do have to say one thing that I think refutes that theory. It does seem very convincing, but refutes that theory, is that there's something known as quality. That's why we have something known as being rich or something, being rich or something, just like if you're rich, you might get a better view of the city. So I think that, better view of the city, you might get to travel to more exotic places and eat more food or something. Sure, it gets plentiful, but even if you have a lot of money, there's still always something new to really carry on with, So I think that theory is a bit flawed. And to get to the real point about it, to get to the real point about it, just in general, whenever you actually are prosperous, the society in general is too strict for it on itself, because the problem with society is that society is always expecting to people to be super duper moral, and at the same time they themselves fail to fall for that belief system. They're always saying, oh yeah, this is disgusting, that's disgusting, for the issue of course there's some things I think everybody can agree are disgusting about, are disgusting, but in general, people seem to be too strict. Parents seem to be too strict or whatnot. They don't let their kids do anything, and they always tell their kids, "Oh, well, you have it so much better than when I was growing up." And then when those kids grow up, they're gonna say, "Yo, you had so much better when I was growing up," and that cycle continues on and on and on and on and on. And that's not even mentioning the other issues. Yeah, I have to pause this video. And that's not even mentioning the other issues, such as the issue of, have you ever been had those moments whenever somebody's ever told you something such as, oh well, when you enjoy something, whenever you enjoy something, that, oh yeah, what are you looking at? That's so stupid. That's so silly. Like, what the hell you're enjoying? You see what I'm telling you? You see what I'm telling you? Because even in this stage, and this is definitely, undeniably, a very prosperous era we're living in right now. It might not look that way when you go outside because it looks pretty dirty, but we're very, very prosperous, um, as a civilization nowadays. Um, as a civilization nowadays, and just in general, but even still, despite that, we're not happy, because honestly, the moment, because honestly, we're brainwashed to believe that we have too much. We're brainwashed to because that's all you hear about, oh yeah, what happens to mother nature, which just doesn't feel good. And just in general, to go into further detail from what I've noticed, is in general, when people are actually prosperous, they tend to become very pretentious. At least a lot of people tend to be, and this is the problem, I think, is the main problem I'm getting to right now. Um, is that society sets standards that is that you have two sides of the argument. The side that says, "Oh, who cares? You know, we're from this nation. We are the great city of whatever. We can do whatever the heck we want." We have this other side that wants to be more humble. And yeah, I'm really getting somewhere now. That says that you shouldn't enjoy the materialism. You shouldn't enjoy that. You should just live a normal life like everybody else. And you have the other side that says, "Oh yeah, we want to enjoy more and more, and and stuff," but they don't know what the heck they're doing. And this is not just the only issue. There's actually a few other issues dealing with this issue, and this is just part one, and I'm gonna do a part two for this video.